Welcome. This is Betsy. I am Betsy with Yoga with Betsy. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of a video for the general guidelines and tips for yoga. So this is definitely going to help any of you that have never taken yoga before, have no idea what it's about, and will even help some of those of you that are even a more experienced yogis with your yoga journey. So first off, I want to explain to everybody that yoga is not a religion. Absolutely not. Yoga is a practice. Yoga is a connection between your mind, your body, and your soul. It is a union of all three of these things. So yoga is more than just an exercise. Yes, there are different asanas and poses that help create that mobility and that flexibility and that strength within your body. But that's just one of the aspects of yoga that is the overall mindset and practice and lifestyle of how you are. So not only do you have all those aspects of the strength in that, but you've also got the mindset, the positivity, the non-attachment. And what I mean by any of that is you have to focus and train your mind to think of the positive aspects of life and not focus on all those negative things. The non-attachment means that you only concern yourself and only hold on to those things that are most important and absolutely necessary for you. So if you're mad or angry at somebody because they cut you off in traffic, don't hold on to that. You need to let that go. That is not something you control. That is not something that is going to support your well-being. So you need to practice non-attachment every single day and create that positive mindset for yourself. So that is the general quick version of the in-depth version of all-around yoga and the mindset. A couple things that I want to go over is namaste. Namaste is a Sanskrit word that means I bow to you. I always close my classes with a namaste. Some people don't understand that it is not a religion. I am not praying to a specific God. Yes, my God, absolutely. But at the same aspect, you can yours. Yoga is very universal. It is not something that is very specific to one religion or another. It is all encompassing. So when at the end of practice, when I bring my hands together, it's joining of the palms and the joining of the mind and the body and the soul. And the namaste is one, I'm bowing to myself and appreciating what my body has just put itself through that yoga practice. And I'm also bowing to you and your progress and your journey and the way you have transformed throughout the class as well. The yoga is your own journey. You take it at your pace. If you want to progress really fast and and practice yoga every day, that is perfectly fine. If you want to practice yoga once a day, once a week, a couple times a week, it's all about what you want and how it will affect your journey. Every person's journey is different. Every person's body moves differently. So even in the different poses, it may look different on me as it will you, as it will your friend or your neighbor. It looks different on everybody. So there is absolutely no judgment from anybody in a yoga class whatsoever, because everybody is on their own journey. Everybody does things differently and moves differently. And as you progress, you're all going to progress differently as well. So just keep that in mind, that it's not about everybody else. It's not about what everybody else looks like. It's not about what everybody else feels or thinks. Nobody's there to judge you. This is all about your very own journey. So I am here and I am looking forward to bringing you all with me on your journey and helping you through it. It is absolutely amazing. And once you start, you will understand. So now for some few tips and tricks. Um, One, we do incorporate some breathing into the yoga. It's a controlled breathing, and you can focus. And when you do that controlled breathing, it helps to relax you. It helps to clear that mind. It helps in so many different ways. Relieve stress, release everything. Um, Now, when we get into Shavasana, which Shavasana is corpse pose, and you are laying in corpse pose, enjoying that relaxation and commending your body for what you have just put it through. Shavasana is a nice little, I normally do a nice little meditation and breathing exercise within Shavasana. So you focus clearly on your breathing, your inhales, your exhales, and always just focus and breathe. Clear that mind. Keeping that stillness in the mind is something that your mind needs regularly. You need to keep that stillness involved in your life. Otherwise, it gets too chaotic and too hectic, and then you get overwhelmed, and your brain is just bogged down with everything. You need to find time to make and find that stillness in your brain to relax and rejuvenate your brain and the rest of your body. It's amazing how just taking some time to stop, breathe, and relax does wonders for anybody. You can control headaches, migraines, all kinds of things that way. Also, when I incorporate the breathing into my yoga classes, I will tell you to inhale, I will tell you to exhale, but don't, unless I state to hold your breath, don't ever hold your breath. So if you're breathing at a faster pace than I am, that's perfectly fine, not a big issue, but please always continue to breathe. You need that breath to be able to move, to live, to relax, the whole 9 yards. There are certain poses that I will say, like in bridge pose, for example, to inhale and lift those hips. I don't cue you to exhale because I want you to hold that pose. But as you're holding that pose, still continue to breathe normally. Don't hold your breath. That's one of the biggest things that I sometimes tend to forget. I'll get into bridge pose and I'll stand there and I'll just hold my breath. Don't hold your breath. Go ahead, relax, breathe, hold the pose, and then as you release and exhale down to the mat, you will feel that. A lot of times I will incorporate certain breaths with certain movements, like an inhale to lift or an exhale to fold. And that actually just helps with those movements. It helps get into them better. It helps release any toxins or any negativity or anything else you have going on within your body. So the breathing part can be kind of tricky to master. So just give it a shot, try it, and it will eventually come along and get easier and easier and easier with time. Don't push your limits. You know your body the best. I know my body the best. You all know your body the best. You all know how it moves and how it doesn't move. And yoga is going to help you learn how it moves even more in depth, and other ways that you never realized that your body could move, it will move. So as we go through the poses, as you get into the pose and you start to feel that stretch, don't push it too far to where it hurts. You just want to feel it to where you know it's working. And then, if you get to that level where you're starting to feel that pain, back it off just a smidge, and then you'll be right in that right spot. And with time, as you continually do these poses over and over and over, it will get easier and you'll be able to get further and further and further into the pose as you go. One thing, like with my seated twist, this is back to the breathing. As you do that seated twist, you take that inhale and you take that exhale. Each time you exhale, if you're already in that pose and you're holding that pose, you take a nice breath in, and as you exhale, it's going to help you sink into that pose easier and more each time. Just don't push it too far. Know your limits, know how far you need to go, and go from there. Something else, as you're going in and out of poses, like I tend to plant my foot, and you'll see me, I will kind of sometimes rock my foot or bring my toes up and down to make sure I have a good solid grounding surface. And whether it's in that type of pose or when I'm laying, either way, go into the pose easily and come out of it easily. So take your time with it. Don't rush, don't force anything, because when you rush and when you force, that's when you pull muscles, that's when you strain yourself. That's when all the bad things happen that does not need to happen. So you just need to take your time, go into it easily, come out of it easily. And also when you do that, that's also going to strengthen you, because if you are holding a pose and you gently come out of it, you're using those muscles to control those movements, which are going to ultimately strengthen those muscles as well. So keep all of that in mind. Alignment issues. Main thing to keep in mind with yoga, and in my different pose videos or in my classes, I will instruct on the proper alignment. The one thing to keep in mind with yoga is your posture. You always want to keep your back as straight as possible, unless we are twisting or whatever, and I am telling you how to manipulate it. But to stay straight and keep your neck in line and straight with your spine is key. So like when we are looking ahead, always keep your vision up and in line. Out front, you can always look up, which is always a good thing because you're bringing your energy and your body up to the ceiling. You can look down, but if you look down, that's going to throw your balance off. That's going to throw things off. So you always want to keep looking forward and not down. Forward or up. Another thing that alignment that I always tend to forget, and if you pay close enough attention, you will see me do it in class. I will get into a pose and my shoulders will be all the way up here. Like it'll be all the way up here with like warrior or something. I always have to remember, relax those shoulders. So that way you keep those shoulders away from your ears. Keep that relaxed. Don't be stressing up here. Keep them down here, okay? And that goes with across the board. Any of the poses that you do, try to keep those shoulders relaxed and down. That is probably my biggest thing that I always have trouble remembering. And I'll be in the pose and then I'll have to be like, okay, Betsy, relax those shoulders. So I'll relax those shoulders. So another thing that I like to tell you all is that sometimes I will mix up my right and left. I will tell you to move right and I will go left. I'm sorry, that's human nature, that happens. And if I say to go right and I go right and you go left, it's not the end of the world. Absolutely not. Just keep in mind that we always do one side and then we do the other, because you want to stay balanced. You want to keep your body balanced from side to side. So if I say, let's go right, and you go left, so when I come back up center and then we go left, you just go the opposite way and go right. So just make sure if we're doing something on one side and then the other, and you accidentally get into the wrong side, when we go to the next side, just do your opposite side that you didn't do. That way you stay balanced, because you don't want to do the right side and then when I say go to the right side, you go to the right side again. So then you're doubling up. Don't do that. Go from one to the other and stick with that back and forth. That way you can stay balanced. Yoga is a lot about balance and making sure everything is equal and on a level playing field. Another thing that I do want to state is I have designed my classes, most of my classes are designed around stretching and relaxation and the kind of stuff that most everyday people need in their life. And when I do my classes, I have structured it so that way everything's in balance. There's a counter movement for every movement, and everything flows and makes sense. And I do poses in the beginning that are going to help open you up and loosen you up for some of the more difficult poses as we go through the class. And then as we wind down the class, I go back through poses that are going to help even more stretching and even more relaxation. But just, there is a method to my madness, and the reason why I do things in the order that they do. So I think that is kind of the general tips and tricks that I wanted to give you as you come into your yoga journey. And I am here and I'm so excited to help you through this. And check out all my other videos and come to a class. Absolutely. If you are not local and you can't come to a physical class, please enjoy all my videos. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you might be interested in and would like me to expand on, please feel free to reach out. I am absolutely open to helping anyone with anything. So, you all, namaste, and I will see you soon.